It's not American to do this. I mean, we're for families and children and for keeping them together. And this is splitting families apart, and we'd like to see that end.
Congressman, that's what you're hearing from your colleagues on the other side of the aisle on Capitol Hill. But as you just heard from Mark Short, who was representing the White House on this program a couple of moments ago, they seem very dug in on the idea that Congress needs to change the laws and the president is not going to back down. What argument do you believe is going to be effective to him? Do you believe that Republicans speaking out is going to make a difference this time?
Hallie, look, I want to encourage all my Republican colleagues to make sure that they're reaching out to the president, to Mr. Short, to the chief of staff, Mr. Cowley, and make sure that they're sharing these concerns that this is un-American, that, look, putting children in cages and separating from their moms is not American, and that's not what we should be doing in the United States. No one should be doing that. But look, Mr. Short should take a trip down. Maybe he can encourage the president to go and see for himself and talk to these children. This has to stop. I mean, there's no way around it.
Congressman, while I was in that interview, I received a message from a member of the administration. I covered the White House during my day job, my other job. And their argument was that the media, they believe, is conflating some of these issues. And the line is that 100% prosecution is a new policy. Family separation policy is not new, that it was the same as past administrations. Now, we talked about already on this program former presidents Obama and Bush and the low numbers. This is a much higher rate of family separation than we're seeing now. And it is a result of the 100% prosecution policy. Do you believe the president has it within his authority to reverse that policy?
Haley, if the president is truly in charge, there's nothing that stops him from picking up the phone, calling Mr. Sessions, calling Secretary Nielsen, and demanding that this stop immediately. Now, as I said yesterday, if the president is not in charge, maybe he should check in with Steve Bannon or with Stephen Miller and get permission from them. This has to stop. This is ridiculous. The president, look, there's got to be a little bit of love in that heart. And Mr. President, if you're watching, if you're listening, like I know that you do, pick up the phone and stop this.
Congressman Ben Ray Lujan, thank you very much for joining us on this program. I appreciate it. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.